everybody, my name is Lindsay and I also go by NekkoMeneko. Today I am finally bringing a shiny Pokemon video for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Basically what this means is I'm going over how to shiny hunt in Pokemon Sword and Shield, what methods there are, what approaches you can do for shiny hunting. Shiny hunting in this game has been quite confusing, and finally the Pokemon Center, the Pokemon website has released some information about shiny Pokemon, as you can kind of see here on the screen. It helps clarify things for me, and hopefully it'll help clarify things for you as well. I'm not gonna lie, some of the wording confuses me a tad bit, but I think I have a better understanding, and this is gonna help all of us understand. Basically, long and short, as far as the comboing or chaining of the wild Pokemon with the battles, I don't think you don't need it. There's no comboing or there's no chaining from the sounds of it. So with that said, let's go right into this, and hopefully those help with all you shiny hunters out there. So as you can see here, shiny Pokemon, gigantic Pokemon lurk in Pokemon Sword and Shield in the wild areas. And it's not only the wild areas, but this is just more so talking about like rare encounters, but we're gonna go into the shiny aspect of it. Let's read this. The sprawling wild area has a greater variety of Pokemon than anywhere else in the Galar region, and it also hides secrets of how to find some of the rarest Pokemon around. If you're looking to add an ace to your battle team or a shiny Pokemon to impress your friends, some special training in the wild area is the best place to start. While searching for Pokemon with hidden abilities, high individual strengths, or Gigantamax factors, or even for shiny Pokemon, you'll be able to rack up lots of watts if you defeat brilliant Pokemon and win max raid battles. Finding brilliant Pokemon can lead to finding shiny Pokemon. So, sometimes you may see Pokemon that give off a special aura, and as you can see, that's what this is happening right here with this Maractus here. These wonderful Pokemon are known as brilliant Pokemon, and you'll find that they're typically higher level than the average Pokemon in the area. They'll also know an unusual move such as an egg move, and they'll have the highest possible individual strength for at least 2 or 3 of their stats, so the IVs. You'll earn some watts each time you defeat the brilliant Pokemon, with higher level Pokemon rewarding more watts. You can quickly find some excellent Pokemon by encountering as many brilliant Pokemon as you can. As you catch or defeat more and more Pokemon of the same species, you'll gradually become more likely to find brilliant Pokemon and shiny Pokemon of that species in the future. You don't need to find these Pokemon consecutively. That is a key right there. You do not need to find these Pokemon consecutively. That is like a key part right there. And you can see how many times you've encountered a species by checking your Pokédex, which I'm gonna go into that here in a second. So right here, numbers of battle. Effects on future encounters. At least one brilliant if you battle at least one Pokemon, say we're going for Zigzagoon, brilliant Pokemon may appear. So as long as you battle one species, a brilliant Pokemon of that same species can appear. If you battle at least 20, brilliant Pokemon have 1.3 times the likelihood of appearing. So these, once again, these are on the same species. At least 50, brilliant Pokemon have 1.6 times the likelihood of appearing, and shiny Pokemon have 2 times the likelihood of appearing. You will not get a higher chance of finding shiny Pokemon until you battle at least 50 of that same Pokemon. But it does not have to be consecutively. Before we were thinking, you had to do a chaining of such and such amount of, chaining to get that increased odds. Once you've battled 50, say you battled 50 Zigzagoons, and then you go and battle 1 Rookidee, that is not gonna break that chain or that combo. You're still gonna have those numbers of battled for those Zigzagoons on there. So at least 100, brilliant Pokemon have 2 times the likelihood of appearing, and shiny Pokemon have 3 times the likelihood of appearing. At least 200, shiny Pokemon have 4 times the likelihood of appearing. So this is when 100 is where it maxes out the max appearance of brilliant Pokemon, and so on and so forth to start when it affects the shiny Pokemon. At least 300, shiny Pokemon have 5 times the likelihood of appearing, and at least 500, shiny Pokemon have 6 times the likelihood of appearing. So once you have battled, say, Zigzagoon 500 times, that is the max amount, and you'll have 6 times the likelihood of a shiny Pokemon appearing. So basically what this is saying, you don't need to find these consecutively. So this is saying, as long as you've battled said species 500 times, that species is maxed out as best odds you can find that randomly in the wild as a shiny Pokemon. So as my understanding of this is, it doesn't matter what you do as long as, so say, you know, like I said, you have 500 Zigzagoons. If you go on in the game and do other stuff and you come back, you're still gonna have the 6 times likelihood of that Zigzagoon the next time you battle it being a shiny Zigzagoon. So that's really cool. So now we know, like, I know people were talking about breaking the chain and like having to chain this. It doesn't sound like that's not even a factor in this anymore. And I'll show you here really quick of what I mean as far as the comboing and on the Pokedex. So if you see here, this is my Pokemon Shield game. And if I go into the Pokedex here, which you can't see, but I'm on the Pokedex. And I started comboing Zigzagoons because I was trying to go for a shiny one. And if I click on him, right there you can see numbered battles. So I've battled Zigzagoon 86 times. So I do have a small increase of the shiny Pokemon appearing. I have more the likelihood of the brilliant Pokemon popping up too. So once I get the Zigzagoon to the number battle 500 or 500 plus, whatever, my likelihood of finding a shiny will be 6 times the rate of, you know, when I run into Zigzagoons. And this affects every Pokemon. So right here is what I knew, and you can see I've battled this only 2 times. So obviously I'm not gonna have much luck. I can find some, this would technically be full odds. If I found a shiny Lunun, that would technically be full odds. The only time it affects the shiny rate is when it gets up to 50 battles. So that's what I'm saying. You can go through all of these. You can see how many times you battled it, and it doesn't matter. It does not have to be consecutive to get the better shiny odds. So that's kind of cool to know. So now we know that it's not even a chaining method. It's just simply looking at how many times you battled a Pokemon and you realize, oh, I have this much odds to finding the shiny, or I have this much odds finding the brilliant Pokemon. So that solves a lot of the issues that not issues, just questions we had. The Pokemon website helped clarify that for me. So let me finish reading what this last little bit says here. It says, once you've encountered a species of Pokemon 100 times, you'll max out the chance of finding brilliant Pokemon of that same species at double the original odds. The odds of finding a shiny Pokemon at the species won't max out until you whopping 500 encounters. We will have the 6 times the normal odds. Those odds are still pretty long, so if you're crazy about shiny Pokemon, we are. It's a good idea to work towards completing the Pokedex and earning the shiny charm. So that's just a really cool thing to know about shiny hunting. And I also like this little tidbit too. Every time you defeat a Pokemon in the wild area, you'll also be much more likely than usual to see that Pokemon of that same species appear for a short time. If you're a big fan of certain species of Pokemon, it might be a good idea to encounter several each time you walk through a wild area to gradually build up your odds. Plus, since you'll be battling the same species of Pokemon repeatedly, it can also be a great way to earn specific base points for your team. Obviously, you're going for that same Pokemon, but the more you run into that same Pokemon, the more likely it is also to pop up. And that's kind of the case of, you know, shiny hunting. So that obviously makes sense there. And then I also want to go into fishing for brilliant Pokemon. Now this doesn't talk about shiny on this end, but this possibly could still be another way to get shinies. It makes it sound like if you go up here, it says finding brilliant Pokemon can lead to finding shiny Pokemon. So that makes me sound like brilliant Pokemon too, like maybe have different, I don't know. Either way, I'm not gonna go too far into that, but I still wanted to read this little tidbit for you all. It says you can find brilliant Pokemon by fishing in the wild area. The number of times you've battled any one species won't matter at all for fishing, so you don't have to battle the same species consecutively. Instead, you'll need to defeat as many Pokemon consecutively no matter what species appears. So basically what this is saying is you want to battle as many Pokemon consecutively as you can hook. So successful hooks, 0 to 2 brilliant Pokemon may appear. So basically no matter what, you can have brilliant Pokemon appear in the fishing holes. 3 to 6 brilliant Pokemon have 1 to 3 times the likelihood of appearing. 7 to 14 brilliant Pokemon have 3.3 times the likelihood of appearing. And 15 to 24 brilliant Pokemon have 6.6 likelihood of appearing. And 25 plus brilliant Pokemon have 16.6 likelihood of appearing. It says if you keep getting bites and defeating your catches, you'll start to find more and more brilliant Pokemon. But be aware, if you fail to rear a Pokemon in, or if you catch a Pokemon, run away from a Pokemon, leave the area or turn off the game, then the chain will break. After 25 successful hooks, you'll cap out over 16 times the initial odds of finding brilliant Pokemon. So it'd be quite rewarding to build a big streak. So basically this whole thing is saying you do kind of want a Pokemon that has suction cups to help keep that chain going. And the only way to keep that chain going is once you reel the Pokemon in, you have to defeat it. Obviously, if it was like a shiny or like a Pokemon you wanted to catch, like go ahead and catch it, but catching it will break that chain, so that is something to keep in mind. So that's interesting as far as like getting some knowledge about chain fishing and how that works. It does, like I said, it doesn't mention shiny Pokemon, but it does say running into brilliant Pokemon can lead into running into shiny Pokemon. So I don't know exactly what that means. That's what I was talking about, where the wording's a little confusing there. But either way, this is still really cool information and just like knowledge that we can put into our brains and like help us for hunting for shiny Pokemon. Not only hunting for shiny Pokemon, but getting Pokemon with the stats we want, you know, and stuff like that for competitive battles. And finally, I also wanted to go over like the Masuda method and then the shiny variants that we have figured out about, because obviously doing the battling is not the only way to get shiny Pokemon. I wanted to go over this as well. So the shiny rate for Pokemon is 1 in 4,096, as the standard has been since X and Y. And then you can also get the shiny charm obtained after Pokedex, which the rates are 1 in 1,365.33. So if you get the shiny charm, obviously immediately right there, your better odds of shiny Pokemon and finding shiny Pokemon in the wild increases quite a bit. And then the rate can be improved further by breeding a Pokemon from a game with another language. This changes it to 1 in 682 without the shiny charm, or if you have the shiny charm, you get 1 in 512 with the shiny charm. So basically this is called the Masuda method. If you don't already know about that, I'm assuming most of you probably already know what the Masuda method is. But basically, if you get a Pokemon traded from you, foreign language, it increases your odds right there. Without shiny charm, you're already at 1 in 682. And then with the shiny charm, you're at 1 in 512. So basically, a lot of people try to get a foreign Ditto. It doesn't matter. A lot of people, you know, get Japanese Ditto. It doesn't have to be a Japanese Ditto. It can be any Ditto of a different language than is considered the Masuda method. So basically, I could get a Germany Ditto or something like that, and it'll still be the Masuda method. I know a lot of people are like, Japan, I need Japan Ditto. It doesn't have to be Japanese Ditto. As long as it's a different language than your original game, it will count. And then basically what you do is you take your Ditto to the daycare and, you know, breed it with, say you're trying to get a shiny Score Bunny, breed it with that, and your odds right there already super increased. But I do want to point out, some people like think just because that odd is 1 in 682, say, you know, without the shiny charm, doesn't mean you'll get that shiny within those odds. Obviously your likelihood is way increased, but you can still hatch 1,000. You could technically hatch 10,000 without getting that shiny Pokemon. Sure, that would be pretty bad luck, but it can happen. So you can go over odds, and of course you get super lucky and hatch it within the first egg. That's the thing with shiny hunting, is you never know when that Pokemon's gonna shine, and that is what makes it so exciting, is because you don't know what's gonna shine. It can be the first one, it can be the second one, it can be the 500th one, it can be the 1,000th one, 10,000, whatever, so on and so forth. Hopefully it doesn't take 10,000, because that's getting a little ridiculous. But either way, that is how shiny hunting works. Now, secondly, I want to get into this, as you can see here, shiny variants. This, I'm a little confused on. The wording on it's kind of weird, and just like how it talks about the squares, as you can see here, like squares being like super rare. I don't think they're as rare as this is making it out to be. I know like this is coming from like data mine information and stuff like that, but I've seen a lot of people who have with the square shiny Pokemon. So I want to say someone broke it down to saying like certain like for example, if you were hatching Masuda method, one of the shiny starter Pokemon, getting squares would be pretty rare. But like getting squares, I think it made it sound like on like wild encounters Pokemon wasn't as rare. I'm not gonna go into that. I don't know all the handy dandy information about that, but I'm gonna read what is said here. In Pokemon Sword and Shield, there are 2 kinds of shiny animation variants. There's the traditional stars and a new effect featuring spinny squares. To get the different effects is quite simply explained as random chance. With breeding Pokemon, static encounters, and max raid battles, when you encounter a shiny Pokemon, it will have 15 to 16th chance of being a Pokemon star sparkles, and a 1 in 16th chance of having the square sparkles. Okay, so right there, I didn't read this obviously before. That explains it right here. So it says right here, with breeding Pokemon, static encounters and max raid battles. So basically with those type of battles, as far as finding the shinies and the squares, that is when the odds are pretty like insane, I guess, if you want to put it that way. At the time of writing, you may encounter a shiny Pokemon as a standard wild encounter. This is essentially inverted with a 4,095, 4,096 chance of having the Pokemon with squares, sparkles, and a point blah, blah, blah chance of having the stars when encountering a shiny Pokemon. So basically right there, that this breaks it down a little bit better of an understanding. To be honest, the whole squares and sparkles, stars, whatever shapes you're getting, that part confuses me a little bit. I think people were also getting quite confused on that. Like every square sparkles they saw, they were like, oh my god, that's the most insane, crazy, shiny luck ever. But it's, like I said, just go to Cerebree, read it for yourself. I just still wanted to bring it up to you to kind of break this information down as best as I can, hopefully get better understanding of shiny hunting and how shiny hunting works. And now we kind of know that chaining really isn't a thing, maybe with like chain fishing, but either way, I hope this video was helpful for you to help understanding like how shiny Pokemon works in these gens, Gen 8 Pokemon Sword and Shield. Woo, that was a lot. Woo! With that said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.